Welcome back to Rusted Junk, the 80s Movies podcast. Do you find yourself wanting to put on a corked hat, fight crocodiles in the outback and then move to New York? How about befriending an alien by dressing him up as a ghost on Halloween? If so, this is the podcast for you. If you remember searching for that perfect film from Blockbuster, and if you grew up in the UK, waiting for that one VHS copy to be returned to the newsagents, then welcome. We'll have fond memories waiting for you. I'm Charlie, and the rest of the Rusted Junk team are Amanda.
Hello.
Joe.
How do you all?
And Dom.
Hello.
And the film we're looking at this time is the 1985 film Clue, based on the popular board game Cluedo, or if you're in the States, Clue. So,
What
anyway.
was that? Why was it different?
Why?
No.
Well, we invented it. We invented it.
Did you really?
Yep, in 1947, published by Waddingtons. That great. If you're English, you know all about Waddingtons. Yeah. So we did it, and then you took it, and like you do with most things in the States, you take a really good idea and you mangle it into whatever that is. Change the name, drop an O, add a U, or something like that, and next thing you know, it's just not as good as the original thing. But still.
But what is? I still don't understand. I asked this the last time. You call it Cluedo?
Ludo.
What is the dough?
It's a deer, a female deer.
And for regular listeners, that's the second pod in a row that joke's been dusted down. Yeah, but there you go. Oh, I'm just typing into my AI counterpart here as to why it was changed from Cluedo to Clue. And sorry, Joe, but it was apparently simplification for the American audience. So I realise that was a clever stereotype.
Says it all.
I understand that because I've never heard that word before. Cluedo.
Well, apparently, this is obviously my carefully prepared research rather than just reading off ChatGPT here, but Cluedo is a play on words clue and Ludo, where Ludo is Latin for I play. But of course, being classically educated as we all are, we all knew that. I'm just trying to provide an informative service for our listeners. So yeah, and whilst Ludo is a well-known classic board game in the UK, it's not as familiar to the American public.
Is it not? Have you played Ludo?
No. I don't even know what the word Ludo means until now.
Oh.
It's just, yeah, well.
Yeah, again, we're dumb Americans. What do you expect?
Not to be confused with Lido.
Yeah, but we gave noughts and crosses, and you call it tic-tac-toe. What the hell is that about?
What the hell is that about?
What? It's noughts. It's literally noughts and crosses.
Crosses.
What's tic-tac-toe mean?
What's a nought? There's always been a strong anti-American sentiment in this pod, and it's just pretty ugly that it's come out in the first 15 seconds. Joe's reeling, for anyone not seeing this on YouTube, he's reeling in his chair.
Oh, poor Joe.
Yeah,
I do know with tic-tac-toe.
Suck on my braces.
Suspenders.
Suspenders.
Said braces.
I do know this about tic-tac-toe. The only winning move is not to play.
Oh, right, okay.
Thank you. Well,
Where was that from, babe?
Somebody got the War Games reference.
Right, there you go.
Oh, it's okay. Fine. We'll be watching that one day. So,
Clue,
But seriously,
1985 movie.
You know, tic-tac-toe sounds a hell of a lot better than knots and X's. Is that what it's called?
no, that with the gnats. What?
Gnats and X's.
Noughts and crosses, like aquanauts.
Knots and
They're not
crosses.
spelt that way.
You guys are so fancy. You drink tea and eat crumpets while you're playing
Monopoly,
knots and
yeah.
crosses.
Knots and crosses, yes.
Noughts and crosses.
Let's play some knots and crosses.
Nobody plays noughts and crosses apart from prisoners, perhaps in solitary confinement or the mentally ill. I mean, why would sit down and play noughts and crosses? Maybe if you're older than 6 and you play noughts and crosses, I think you need to have a word with yourself.
Oh,
In this era of smartphones and Fortnite and crack cocaine, why would you sit around playing noughts and crosses if you had some spare time? That's what I'm not sure.
Crack cocaine, noughts and crosses on crack cocaine.
Well, yeah, I mean, that could get interesting, yeah, or perhaps acid. I don't know. We're supposed to be keeping this PG, aren't we, for goodness sake?
Anyway, yeah.
Let's get off the hard drug
I
reference.
think we can still click on it. Acid. Right, okay.
See,
Fine.
do you call checkers?
who?
Oh, my God. He's talking about
No,
drafts.
draft.
It's drafts.
Jesus.
You know, when
No,
you play,
not Jesus, draft.
Joe, you know when you're playing chess, do you refer to them as horses or knights? Because this could be a deal breaker at this point.
Oh, we refer to them as knights.
Thank God for that. Yeah.
Hey.
And is
Do
it
you have
pawns
pawns?
or prawns?
Pawns,
Yeah.
yeah, pawns, bishops, rooks.
Oh, there we go then.
Wow.
That's all the same. Then they didn't make it. Oh, did they make a movie, Chess?
Yeah.
It's a musical, isn't
Yeah,
it?
They made a
it was
musical, yeah. Right. Anyway, sorry to interrupt this, like, sort of divide against the Atlantic, but we have got a podcast to do. So
That's true. Go on,
yeah,
then.
I know. I forgot all about it.
Who's in it?
1985, Clue. Right, we've got to name them all. Tim Curry, Eileen Brennan, Christopher Lloyd, Madeline Kahn, Tim Curry, Michael McKean, Martin Mull, Leslie Ann Warren, Colleen Camp, and the others, which we'll get to. So yeah. Dom, this is your film. This is the Lucky Dip film. So why did you pick it? Why did you put it in the hat? And what are your thoughts around it? Although, actually, do we ask your thoughts? No, go on then. We usually leave it till last, but yeah, go on.
I'm not going to score it, but yeah, I'll give you my. So why did I choose?
Yeah, we don't score it.
Two reasons. Like all the films I tried to choose this season, it's ones that I think will stimulate a bit of debate and hopefully in an interesting way some difference of opinion. I also chose this one because it's a personal favourite. So please feel free to shoot it down. And I do. I'm not blind to some of the flaws in the film, but let's get some of the problems out of the way. The critics were not kind to it, and it would be an exaggeration to say that it's achieved a strong cult following. For many, perhaps it goes back to the spirit of the original Rusted Junk podcast in that it is a bit of an overlooked, forgotten, in my opinion, gem. And it comes from a really inauspicious start, a board game. Compare it to the kind of high concept, high farce of A Weekend at Bernie's, and this is, derivative from a board game. But for that, I love it. And I do remember very clearly the first time I ever saw it, I had a little TV, black and white TV in my bedroom, and I was watching a film at night, and I just switched it on, just as it was starting, and started watching it and just loved it for some of the reasons I'll talk about in more detail later. And there's
How
one
old were
scene.
you?
Yeah, it wasn't when it had just come out. So it was being shown on network TV in the UK. So I think I was probably about 13, 14. I'm not going to lie, possibly the maid character in it was something that kept my
ask about that.
raised my curiosity at first, but I stuck with it. And by the halfway through the film, I was laughing my head off. And there's that scene where without any spoilers, the singing telegram just gets shot, knocks on the door, and I laughed and laughed and laughed. So yeah, that's how it was for me. So 14-year-old boy, probably in the midst of a fever dream watching it, but it really memorable, loved it. And it's now become a family favorite in our house. I've introduced it to my children who normally turn their nose up at anything that I think was good, but they like it. We've seen it several times as a family. So great family film, some brilliant cast and some great physical comedy. I think it's a lovely film from the 1980s that I wanted to share to a wider audience.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. Dom, you get to pick who goes next.
Okay, I feel bad for piling on to Joe earlier on in this pod. So Joe, let's go.
I feel sorry for him. He's got to defend himself.
Well,
I'm fine with it.
You've made that sound like pity. I feel like in a spirit of camaraderie that we should bring Joe into proceedings. So Joe, my friend, what are your thoughts?
So Dom, my friend, I'll be blunt with this. I think it sucks. I'm not a huge fan of it. Even when it came out, the problem with this movie, I think, is that most of these people were probably on the Love Boat or they were on Fantasy Island. They were mostly TV stars, and I think that that's what kept a lot of people from seeing it back in the day, including myself, because I saw it on video. I mean, when I would see the commercial, I was like, oh, that's Lenny from Laverne and Shirley. That's, Jim from Taxi. Martin Mull is basically in any TV show that you could name, practically. It's just a weird cast. I think that they could have spent more money to get better actors in it. Like, I don't know if it would ever happen, but I would love to see someone like Michael Caine in it, or just someone that was like a real actor. And we really, if you want to say like Tim Curry was the big deal, we didn't have the internet back then, and I bet you most people didn't know that Tim Curry was the guy from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. They just saw him as like an English butler.
Oh.
I don't know. I just not a huge fan of the. I mean, it's got its moments. I agree. I like the part with the singing and telegram because it's just so goofy and unexpected. So I'll give that like a half a point.
Okay, right. Well, Joe, my acquaintance, that's that's the
A
blunt
good
truth of the
friend to
matter. Yeah,
acquaintance.
you've been downgraded. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a friend. Now I'm an acquaintance.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see where we
That's
get to
it.
by the
That's
end of
the
the pod.
acquaintance.
Because I guess I'm not getting a kidney from you if I need it.
Yeah. Well, honestly, you would not want one of mine. Right. Well, Amanda,
Yes.
the spirit and the heartbeat of the pod, somebody who can be relied upon.
Oh
Ooh.
God, listen, he's sucking up to it. He needs better scores.
Oh,
I'm
Right.
just interested in your opinion.
Well, who are you today? Professor Dom. Professor Dom, today. Right, okay. I had not seen this movie before. So I didn't know what it was about. I thought it was a bit odd that it was based on Cluedo, but I could see that there was a kind of storyline to it. So it's, it was Professor Plum in the library with the lead piping, that kind of thing. So I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was very entertaining. I got a little bit lost with all the running around in every room when it was being recapped. I got a little bit lost with the 3 different endings, to be perfectly honest. But overall, I thought it was an entertaining watch. I did actually get up to go to the loo, but that was about 10 minutes before the end, but only because I was desperate for the loo. So I actually paid attention to the movie. So that is a good sign, Dom. So yeah, I thought it was comedic, entertaining, and I obviously knew some of the actors. Had I watched it in 1985, I probably wouldn't have known the actors, but it's only since kind of like looking back and seeing like other films that they've been in or other sort of series that I've recognised who they are. So yeah, just out of interest, did Tim Curry do this movie before Rocky Horror or after Rocky Horror?
Or well after.
It was after. Was that
Yeah.
a 70s movie?
Yeah, mid-70s.
Oh, okay. Right, cool. Yeah, lovely. Right. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
This was the same year he did Legend, though, which obviously
Legend.
we did earlier in this series, and that's pretty
Yeah.
2 contrasting characters, the demon.
It
and
is
Legend.
really,
Indeed,
isn't
it
it?
is.
One's a good movie, one isn't.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well said.
Yes.
Probably opposites there, Joe.
Opposites.
Okay, then. So over to you, Maestro. The baton
Maestro,
has been passed.
How flattering.
We're climbing the ladder of positivity here. So bring us home, Charlie, with a.
Well, there's still some way to go because if anybody watches on YouTube, we do the YouTube Shorts, and the way that it was edited and put together, it was like Dom going, "Oh, great choice, Charlie," and then describing it, and then it cuts to Joe, "Excellent choice, Charlie." And I was just like thinking, yeah, that's quite a nice thing to put in. That's quite a nice short to put in. Dom, I have to return the favor here. Amazing choice. I hadn't seen it, and how have I not seen this film? And I just honestly, I feel like I'm missing out on years and years and years of repeat watching of something like this, because this is exactly what I would put on. I loved it. I genuinely loved it. I just thought it was. And the other thing, when you talked about Amanda not walking out like she did 20 minutes before the end of Spinal Tap, we all know what that means. I mentioned to Amy, well, we're going to watch this film. It's about Cluedo. It's about a board game. It's murder mystery and all this sort of thing. Do you want to watch it? Oh yeah, she said. Yeah, fine. Thinking, last 10 minutes.
Yeah,
then on the phone, transfixed the whole way through. She watched the whole thing. And she actually has given me her score, which I will.
She?
Yeah, she's given me a score.
Can I guess it? I can guess it later.
Yeah, you could. Well, yeah, you can try. Absolutely, you can try and guess it later. But we watched it. We laughed. I think we all laughed, all of us, at times. I think the writing's top notch. I think the gags are. I think the writing is subtle, and that makes it more funny. everyone plays a good part. Honestly, I don't have a single negative thing about it.
Do you know what I thought? Sorry to butt in. Have you finished? Sorry.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I have now.
Okay. I thought it was written in a very dark humor English kind of comedy. So if you've ever watched Yes Minister or Yes Prime Minister, it had
Classics.
that kind of double entendre or double meaning kind of aspect to what they were saying. It was just very cleverly written, I felt.
Yeah, I would agree. But look, I think there's been a range of views expressed there. And Joe, that's one of the reasons I chose it, because I knew it'd be a film that would stimulate some debate. I think that makes it more interesting for our listeners, and really interested to hear your take on it. But of course, Charles, it fills my heart with joy that you really liked it.
Genuinely,
it's one of those films that I do think it's not to everyone's taste, but those who like it do like it. And I just can't believe you and I never sat down and watched this when we.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I made
over
no
a
notes.
cheese pizza.
Yeah. Over cheese and then some double cheese. I made no notes because I was too busy with the film. I just thought. I think it's kind of hard to make notes on it.
I couldn't make notes.
No,
I
don't have
started
notes
off
either.
making notes, and then I was like, I got to the point where, like, Mr. Body turns up, and then it's all blackmail in common. But I gave up writing then because I thought, I just want to concentrate and see where this is going.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really illustrative that the three of you didn't take notes, because actually, bear with me when I say this, but I think it's a film that it doesn't actually matter that much about the plot. I mean, you talk about the three endings, and we'll get into that. Doesn't really matter. The fact that they're kind of charging around the house slightly randomly, at sometimes arguably padding it out a bit, doesn't really matter. It's not a story. It's a series of kind of set pieces, some very sharp writing, and a lot of physical humor. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some films that wouldn't work, and you'd get frustrated at the absence of a plot or a structure or a narrative. For me, this pulls it off with some panache and aplomb. Again, it doesn't for everybody, including yourself, Joe. But so if we look at this critically, does it hold together? It's a very short film as well. It must be one of the shortest films that we've reviewed on this pod. But again, for me, that's a strength rather than a weakness.
Absolutely. Should we watch the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should put the trailer in there somewhere. Here is the trailer.
Every person in this room has the perfect motive.
Stand back!
For murder.
What do you mean? Murder.
But only one of these suspects is the murderer. Is it the timid Mr. Green?
Why are you screaming? Because I'm frightened of what? Screaming!
Or the militant Colonel Mustard?
If I was the killer, I would kill you next.
Huh?
I said if.
Mrs. White, who helped her husband on his way?
Well, it's a matter of life after death. Now that he's dead, I have a life.
Miss Scarlet, who's helped many men along the way?
Practice makes perfect. Huh.
Professor Plum, who's looking for a way?
I'm looking.
Mrs. Peacock?
I have absolutely no idea what we're doing here, but I am determined to enjoy myself.
Or did the butler do it?
No.
Paramount Pictures invites you to an evening of mystery.
Let us in! Let us out!
Murder.
This is getting quite serious.
And madness. In the movie that makes a scene of the crime.
So who did it?
Clue. It's not just a game anymore.
That trailer makes me think, how did I avoid that? Because if I saw that and I saw the cast that was in that, I would have just gone, I need to watch this. I always knew it was around, but I just never watched it. So we need to go back. When you said it was like, the spirit of Rusted Junk, Forgotten 80s Movies, which is now called the 80s Movies Podcast. But if you go back to that spirit, this could have easily been in season 1. And I think we would have just had, when, it's just me and Amanda, and we would have just had a whale of a time with this film. Instead, we picked Dross like Prancer. But, never mind. I thought it was a good trailer. It's snappy.
Let's do it, I suppose.
like a crocodile sandwich, snappy to the point. It's great.
You know,
I think. Oh, go on,
sorry, you
Jay.
good. I was just going to say really quick, if this was in season 1, I'd probably like it more because this is a forgotten movie, and I feel like now we're tuning into like some of the best movies out there, and that's how I feel.
We've listened to listener feedback. We've sailed the ship in a different direction. We probably
Let's be
sailed that
honest,
ship.
I've just
Go
chosen
on.
a personal favourite, haven't I? And I've torpedoed the previous spirit and sentiment of this series.
For those not watching on YouTube, I'm holding up the hat which has Joe's 2 films in it, and all I say is look forward to the end of the podcast when we select it, because yeah, that might be I don't know, that might be the best bit, even though it's going pretty well so far. Right, should we get to roll call then?
Yeah.
Roll call. Okay, here we go. Roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call.
I think previously we have discussed Tim Curry when we did Home Alone 2, but that for a lot of people might remember him from Home Alone 2 and might enjoy that because it's a film that they put on every year. Although
He was the concierge, wasn't he?
Yeah, the concierge. Love the scene where the Grinch is on TV with the smile, and then it cuts to his smile. That's a great transition. Love it.
But the two characters aren't that dissimilar, are they? Wadsworth and the guy that he plays in, that over kind of preening, over the top character that he plays here. I wonder if that had an element to how he got cast for that film. To be honest.
I mean, from a point of view, is iconic-wise, he'll always be Frankenfurter, and he'll always be Rocky Horror. And it's interesting. I went on a sailboat with just 12 people, and got chatting to a couple that were retired, and they go to Rocky Horror. I mean, she's been to the show 10, 12 times, and it was. If you're listening, I did tell you about the podcast, Tom and Tracy. There you go, shout out. But they said Tim Curry was just incredible, and one of the things that he did, because obviously he had the stroke in 2012, and he wasn't really the same since, and it was just voice acting that he did rather than any sort of film acting. But he did a fundraiser for the Democrats, of course. He did a fundraiser where he did a table read of Rocky Horror, and he was still able to do that. And that was last year. I think it was 2020. So, I mean, he is very few roles, but the roles that he's done, I think, are well remembered for different reasons. I mean, the other ones are, you've got Annie, we talked about Legend. For me, gonna shoehorn it in every time, but he was Dr. Petrov in Hunt for Red October. He was Pennywise in It. I rewatched Loaded Weapon 1, the send up of Lethal Weapon 1. He's very good in that. I just the way it is. Muppet Treasure Island and Congo, I think, are the main ones. Nobody remembers Congo, and he's pretty awful in that. But yeah, Tim Curry.
So now we've concluded on the cast member we're not going to discuss. Shall we go on to some of the ones we are going to discuss after your 5 minutes?
Well, did anyone want to tell me what Eileen Brennan was famous for?
She was in Private Benjamin, wasn't she?
Very good, Amanda. That's
amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would have put money on you going, who? Yeah, but you got it. Private Benjamin, definitely. She was also in White Palace with James Spader and Susan Sarandon.
Who?
Don't do that again, Joe. James Spader, love the Spader.
I actually was watching The Sting, and she was in that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I think sometimes I just go to the 80s. I don't really go below, but maybe I should dip a little bit into the 70s,
maybe you should dip a
60s.
little below there, Charlie.
A little bit. A little bit. Madeline Kahn.
A lot of Mel Brooks movies. Yeah. Almost all of them.
Blazes Saddles is particularly good, where she tries to seduce the new sheriff in town, and ends up, after a liaison with him, ends up infatuated with him, which is it's great. She's great in Blazing Saddles. Young Frankenstein.
She's great in Young Frankenstein.
She is, absolutely. The Muppet Movie, History of the World Part 1, which was one of my earliest films that I think I saw on video. I think it was a double bill with Life of Brian at my uncle's. I don't think my dad knew, but how old would I have been? 81, maybe? So 9 years old, watching Life of Brian and History of the World Part 1. Excellent.
Well, in the spirit of getting a word in edgeways here.
Sorry.
And being highly predictable, the two things that I like to bring to this pod. We've missed on our Oscar bants on both Eileen Brennan, who got Oscar nominated for Private Benjamin, but also, can you believe that Blazing Saddles actually got an Oscar nomination for Madeline Kahn as well? That wouldn't happen these days.
I didn't spot that. What for supporting?
Best supporting actress Blazing Saddles lost out to Lee Grant for Shampoo. To be fair, she never really had a chance of winning it, did she? But and she also was nominated 2 years previously for Paper Moon, where she lost out to Tatum O'Neal for Paper Moon.
Paper Moon's a really good movie.
Yeah, it is.
I've never seen it. Okay, add that to the list.
And hang on. Are we doing shout outs as well? Are we at risk of turning it into a 1980s smashy and nicey thing here? Because we have got a new viewer, courtesy of me, a new listener to this pod. So
You are all listener.
I want to give a shout out to Fran, who I know is listening to this pod on her drive home. So
Hi, Fran.
Oh, hi, Fran. Yeah.
Hello, Fran.
Yeah. If you want to shout out, get in touch. We'll always give you a shout out. Definitely. But especially to new listeners.
Some people won't know Smashy and Nicey, though, will they?
No, and Fran's one of them. She's too young for that. But yeah.
Right.
By the way.
Cultural references again.
Charles, regain control of the pod. I've derailed it.
No, it's not. It's good. Well, I hope you enjoy it, Fran. I hope you come back. I hope you were. Was she listening before?
I think she got into it a couple of pods ago.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this is a great season. This is really good. Madeline Kahn. She's also in Betsy's Wedding. She was in 83 episodes of Cosby Show as Pauline Fox. I don't remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember her at all in that.
Well, it said Cosby rather than the Cosby Show. And
okay.
I don't remember it suddenly losing the show bit.
Now I remember. Yeah, after the Cosby Show, he came back, I think, for CBS and did Cosby. And I remember he was poor, like, because he was a rich doctor in the Cosby Show, and Cosby, he wasn't, so yeah, that kind of rings a bell now.
Okay. It sounds like something I did like the Cosby Show. Christopher Lloyd. Anyone? And you can't mention Back to the Future.
Taxi.
Ah. What? Wait a minute. Who is this? Can I just go downstairs and find out who's coming out with these belters straight on? Did you look beforehand or?
Yeah, I've done a bit of research.
Ah, right. Okay. I just thought they were coming naturally. Just like,
I said it about 15 minutes ago too.
You did.
We can't criticize people for doing research. I mean, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Oh, no. Okay. Joe, what Star Trek film was he in?
Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock.
That's right. Excellent.
He was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
He was,
wasn't he?
Very scary. Very scary.
That's surely his next best known role after Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, Uncle Fester in the Addams Family.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Don't know.
Yeah.
I love him in the Dream Team with Michael Keaton. We discussed that when we did Batman, but yeah, here's another of them. Next time we'll do a Peter Boyle film. We'll try and get them all in one place. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, of course.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now you've made me look like a chump. Yeah, they're all better and more prominent roles. So just ignore me. I'll just sit here silently, having lost my confidence now.
No, because I need you back for the next bit. Michael McKean, David St. Hubbins himself. Hard to think he does this role after Spinal Tap, and you just think.
Now I know him from.
Oh, here we go. This might be the trilogy. It might be the 3 for 3 that she gets an absolute belter. I've got something in my head. Go for it.
Better Call Saul.
Ah, right, okay. Not what I
Because
had,
he's his
but yeah.
brother, and he hates him.
Chuck
because-
McGill. Yeah.
Yeah, because he hates like the fact that his brother's like in the legal profession, and he's worked so hard and done it all like the proper way that his brother did like some backstreet qualification, Saul basically, and became a lawyer, and he basically wanted to try and I don't know, he was a really weird character, but a very watchable one.
Oh yeah, I think that's as good as Breaking Bad. You know, I think that's a fantastic series, Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
100%.
Didn't like either.
Like I said
it's
the
weird,
last
isn't
time.
it? He didn't like them.
Couldn't get into it. It's like The Wire. What the hell's going on there?
See,
I've
The
got better
Wire
things
was
to do with
good.
my life.
The Wire was good.
Why is all three of those shows you just mentioned are rubbish? They ain't no
They're
Miami
not
Vice.
rubbish.
Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Bloody hell.
Well, like I'd said, like the last time with Michael McKean, if you asked the Americans, I would say 90% of them would say that they know him from Laverne and Shirley.
Really?
Right, okay. Yeah, which I was gonna
Charles, when you're doing your edits for the shorts, can you just capture Amanda's bloody hell there? Because there was a lot packed into that bloody hell. That wasn't just being dismissive of your claims that Miami Vice is somehow better than The Wire or Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. That there was years into that bloody hell. So yeah, that's got to feature in this short.
I'm used to that. It's fine.
Yeah, but
Fine.
God, that was poignant.
I was also going to say, I thought it was funny. It's like you mentioned a couple of times, it's like, and Amanda did not walk up away from this film, or she did not get up and get away from this film, which is always a good sign. It reminds me, like, are you a groundhog? You know, or do you get that over there? You know what Groundhog Day is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
have it over there?
No, we have yours.
Oh, well, Groundhog Day is
Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah, it's like if the groundhog sees its shadow, I think it's 6 more weeks of winter, and if it doesn't, it's an early spring.
No idea what you're talking about, Joe.
Do you know what's Groundhog Day?
Have you not seen Groundhog Day? Spoiler alert! It's in my top 10 all-time films. That's how much I love it. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm not ashamed of that. It is a fantastic film. Yeah, I can't believe you've not seen it.
You've never seen it?
Amanda, you deserve.
With Bill Murray in it, is it?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But do you know what the purpose of the groundhog was for?
You deserve a bloody hell here, Amanda.
Oh,
Bill
absolutely.
Murray
I was going to say.
acting like Bill Murray again. It's Bill Murray. You know he's not my favourite guy.
Oh, yeah, but you never justify why.
Oh, it's just him. He just does the same thing all the time.
But you laugh at Hugh Grant.
There's no depth.
That's all he does.
He's got you there.
I'm not talking about Hugh Grant. No, actually, Hugh Grant's a better actor because he is.
The hell's going on?
Was Hugh Grant nominated for an Oscar?
No,
he may have been.
No,
I know Bill Murray was.
Yeah. Yeah.
American.
Little impromptu Oscar bants.
Right,
I'm with America on this one against Hugh Grant. He dances at the end of Paddington. That's about it.
That was a good dance. But
he was in another film as well, though, wasn't he? Not so long ago.
Not another film. Wait a minute, he was in more than one.
Shut up. No, where it was a really it was a movie that was not true to his normal character.
Oh, it was Willy Wonka. He's gonna play an Oompa Loompa.
No.
gosh.
Oh yeah, that looks awful. That's
Never
called Wonka,
gonna-
isn't it? I could think of another word.
We'll think of another name over here. Don't worry.
No, it was a
Richard Curtis film. I love Richard Curtis films.
Yes. No, I don't think it was. I'm just gonna research.
He plays a posh prime minister.
No.
Plays a posh guy going to a wedding. Posh guy going to a funeral.
Not that one. I'm gonna.
Where's the romance in your heart, Charlie?
Hang
that
on.
cold black lump of coal that you've got in your chest.
Oh,
It lightens up at Christmas time.
I nearly did a Richard Curtis moment the other day. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to elaborate. I'm just going to leave that tantalising for our
Is it
listeners.
raining? I didn't notice.
Oh, please don't mention Andy McDowell in any. She is banned from this podcast, as is Tom Hanks, apart from Bachelor Pie. Andy McDowell. That's possibly one of the worst scenes in cinema. Top 20 worst scenes ever.
What, we talking about Planet of the Apes?
No, worse. Is it raining? I didn't notice.
I just
Forward
said
into the
that.
funeral. Good lord. Good lord. I was about to say good God. I've just said it.
Did you know Hugh Grant's name is actually Hugh John Mungo Grant?
As Shakespeare would say, I careth not. Can we?
Wikipedia has said is an English actor. He established himself early in his career as a charming and vulnerable romantic leading man and has since transitioned into a more dramatic character actor.
When did I missed that? When did that happen? Character actor.
Yeah, that's kind of what was he promoting at the Oscars where everybody was ragging on him because they felt that he was rude to the interviewer, and it was like a really kind of lame movie, and I think it might have been animated too.
Ugh. I don't know.
I don't know.
I literally don't care.
Yeah, but but we got to pick Bill Murray over him.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. Back to the roll call. It's nice actually that people join us for a bit of a catch up where we just.
I was going to say,
yeah.
Was Hugh Grant in this movie? How do we get to him?
It would have been banned.
You've lost two of your presenters to scrolling through Wikipedia now. I'm just going through Hugh Grant's section here on libel lawsuits, legal issues, phone hacking expose, arrest and subsequent disgrace. God, there's quite a lot he's packed in here. Apparently knobbed Liz Hurley, so fair play for that, Hugh.
Then got a bluey in the back of the car.
Yeah, wasn't he banging Liz Hurley at that point? And then he ended up hooking up with a prostitute.
She goes out. She's in that dress, as they call it, that dress, the black dress, which is amazing. And I'm like thinking, you lucky so and so. And next thing you know, he hops over to the States and he Divine Brown, and you're like, what? Skank.
Oh look, in real time, we're adding to Hugh Grant's libel section on Wikipedia when he sued our 80s podcast for severely slandering him to the listeners.
Right,
we should
I've
probably
got the
move on.
movie that he
We're
was
just
in.
Wikipedia reading.
Right,
Yeah.
bringing it back. He was in
What?
The Gentleman. The
Oh,
Gentleman,
God.
2019.
Generic phoned-in performance. It was the worst thing about that film. Anything else? Anybody got anything else? Do you know what? I would actually go for a film he did called 9 Months, where he played somebody that was agitated because he didn't know what being a father was like while his girlfriend was pregnant. Mildly amusing. He's banned anyway. We're not enough. Hugh Grant, enough. Dom,
All right.
Michael McKean. What's the film I've got in my head?
What? Not Spinal Tap.
Not Spinal Tap. What's the cameo film?
Yeah. All right, another top 10. I've got 64 films in my top 10, but yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes.
Yeah, banger.
Do you believe this car is roadworthy, sir? Yes, I do.
Oh, he was in that? He was.
Oh,
in
he
that?
was the copper, wasn't he?
He was the copper, yeah.
I didn't realize that. No.
Oh, I scared because we talked about that when we did Spinal Tap, and I hadn't realised that it was the copper then. That's not either. Yeah.
He has a great cameo in Friends where he invents the. He's just inventing all this food stuff. One called Mocklet.
Mocklet.
Mocklet, and then he has that. You're not allergic to fish, are you? Yes. Oh, sorry. But he's in a show that you and I watched, Amanda, Breeders. He played the dad in that. Martin Freeman, the two kids.
Oh yes, with the funny lady.
Yeah.
Yes.
Saturday Night Live, Dream On. I used to watch with Brian Benben. I love that show. For your consideration, I think you said Joe and all of that. Anyway, let's move on. Martin Mull. You said that he was the Colonel Mustard. You said, Joe, that he's been in a lot of stuff. He has. I haven't got much for him. He played himself in The Player, which if you haven't watched that, you need to go and watch The Player. I keep telling you. If they haven't watched it by now, or new listener, go and watch it. Mr. Mom, Mrs. Doubtfire, and stuff.
He's so boring in everything that he's in, but he was so popular back in the 70s at least. Like he was in everything for some reason.
Yeah.
Toodle Pip.
So Joe, one of the your feedback is obviously your feedback and your view is your view. But one of the things I thought I'd just challenge is you didn't rate the cast in this, and I know you said they were kind of a bit more television. But some of the people we've talked about so far, Tim Curry, surely, Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd, Michael McKean. That's a pretty strong cast for an obscure film like this. I do agree with you that the Colonel Mustard character probably does let the side down. He probably is the one that I would suggest maybe was slightly miscast or is a bit underwhelming. But
no, not at all.
Yeah, no, I thought there were more theatrical performances. It's not a very cinematic film. This is it. We've seen some really good cinematic films recently, and this is more of a theatrical performance. I think within a very small location of that stately home. 99% of it's filmed in there, isn't it? But I think the cast are excellent.
Okay. All right.
I kind of disagree. I'll looking through it. Eileen Brennan, she's just creepy. I don't like her voice. I don't like her face. I just was never a fan of her. Madeline Kahn just felt off in this movie. I don't think she should have been in that. Christopher Lloyd, he's okay, but it's not like it's the best character he's ever played. Michael McKean didn't really do anything for me in this movie. Martin Mull is like vanilla ice cream. He's just so plain. Leslie Ann Warren now.
Can we get to that? Because
Is that Miss Scarlet?
Right.
Yeah.
Leslie Ann Warren is responsible for part of my sexual awakening.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Oh, I think that's where I got my thing for like older women.
Is this the woman in Superman in the boots?
No, that's Sarah Douglas.
Oh, she was.
She's in it as well. She's in it as well, but not in the film. But yeah.
No, she tried out for the part of Lois Lane, and she should have been Lois Lane.
Ugh.
She was incredible looking compared to Margot Kidder.
Yeah,
I would have chosen her for sure.
Oh God, Charles, can you imagine if they were both in it then?
I would have worn out 15 editions of the VHS. I think.
Jeez. You like Margot Kidder too?
No, I thought she meant Sarah Douglas. Sarah Douglas and
yes.
Yeah, Sarah Douglas got a massive thing for. Yeah. It's like Carrie-Anne Moss in The Matrix. There's a definite path here that you can follow. But yeah.
Dark-haired ladies with long boots. That's
I didn't see her in this. Well,
isn't it?
Well,
Carrie-Anne Moss was covered from head to toe in The Matrix. How could you be turned on by her?
Because she was dressed in PVC. Maybe.
I don't know. Just maybe that doesn't do anything for me.
Okay. Maybe if I knock up an outfit from a couple of bin bags, then.
She kind of looked like a dude at times. I'm sorry.
In the guilty in the court of
me. Me.
Yes, you're because you're talking. Not talking sense. Should we put it that way? Anyway,
right,
I saw her in a James Woods film called Cop. That's where I first Leslie Ann Warren.
Oh, okay.
And then I went back and I watched.
She looked a bit like Susan Sarandon.
Oh God, no.
She did. I thought it was
I
Susan
can see
Sarandon.
that.
Yeah.
No.
Susan Sarandon before her face was hit with a pot or something like that.
An iron. Clang.
Yeah.
So Leslie Ann Warren also Oscar nominated in the past for 1982 for Victoria, losing out to Jessica Lange, who won it for Tootsie.
That's my girl. I would if she was in that movie. If she was in Clue, 10 out of 10.
Well,
maybe not 10 out of 10, but it would have gone up a lot. It would have gone up a lot.
Leslie Ann Warren started in Mission Impossible, the original series.
Oh yeah.
So, and then you got her in the Bruce Willis Color of Night, the Limey with Terrence Stamp. But anyway, seeing as we're talking on, and you've already mentioned it, Joe, or was it Dom? Colin Camp. Yeah,
well, we talk about having things for actresses, and I might as well pile onto this sexist bandwagon that we've hitched ourselves to, because and in a much less obvious way, we could all sit here and dispute whether or not people dressed in leather or PVC. Yeah, anyway, just Colin Camp in this film walks around in a very revealing maid's outfit for the whole thing. And when you're an impressionable 14-year-old, as I was when I first saw this, then my God, it's a memorable performance.
Do you know? I actually read some research about this. She turned up at the audition in that.
Yes.
Yeah, world's shortest audition, then, yeah.
Yeah,
Because she can't do the French accent at all, can she? So
She didn't need to, did she?
No.
Yeah,
I'm
she
not
didn't
proud.
need to.
I'm not proud of this, but yeah, she is lovely in this film.
What's she look like now?
Oh,
Yeah, I want to know.
yeah.
Well-
Oh, sorry. I had Leslie Ann Warren in my head. She looks great, like a fine wine. She's just great. Colin Camp. Colin Blimp. Is that fair?
Oh, is that the photo you sent to
the
us
photo
on
I said.
WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Oh,
I put her in Police Academy, which she started in Police Academy 2 and 4. None of the others. 2 and 4. And then how she is now.
time has not been kind.
Well,
Time has not,
our
no.
WhatsApp group went absolutely scandalous, didn't it, for a period this last week? There was all sorts of controversial material being shared. Yeah, I think we hit rock bottom or new heights, depending on your perspective. But,
New heights, I would say.
I think it got the phrase double bagger back into circulation, didn't it, at one stage?
Which
Let's
means
not
different
go
things.
there.
Which means different things, apparently. Ours is a lot more applicable. Joe's American interpretation is more downstairs, should we say?
Oh, well, yours is double bagger over the head.
Well, that we're here now.
Oh,
I
God,
I
Tom.
just all I did was dip my toe into the lake, and then the shark came out and
No, I'm
dragged
serious
me in.
though. But double bag is putting 2 bags over someone's face.
No,
in your
you
country?
put one over your one. You both wear one in case hers blows off.
Why did you think I mentioned cutting eye holes in them? You know, where did you think I was going with that?
Let's just move off this, because it could be that we're inciting people to put plastic bags on their heads.
No,
We're
just-
not doing that.
No, like paper bags.
Look, if Joe starts talking about upper deckers, then we're going to have to use the beep function, I think, aren't we? So
Okay.
let's move on.
All right, we'll move on.
Okay, Colin Camp, Valley Girl. She was in the Made for Sharon Stone. Pretty awful, but I still watch it because it's good rubbish. Sliver. She was in Wayne's World, Die Hard with a Vengeance, and the worst sequel in the world, potentially. Discuss Speed 2.
I watched Sliver, right? I rented that movie when I was about... When did that come out?
93.
Okay, so I would have been 19. So I rented that when it came out. It was probably like 20 or whatever. From the local wine stores. Okay, so this was the kind of
Really?
local shop that had some movies to rent, you know, not your local Blockbusters, your anonymous like movie rentals. No, this was, oh, hi, how are you? Yeah, fine. Yeah. So I rented Sliver. Oh my God, I'm not kidding you. I think the guy had kittens behind the counter because I was renting this movie. It was just like, he was a Sikh man, and I don't think he expected a girl of 20 to rent this movie from the corner shop, and he was giving me quite severe innuendo talk, and it was really not appropriate. We say it was,
At 19.
bit weird.
Was he not renting it because he went, this movie's dreadful. Do you really want to? Are you sure you want to rent it? That's what I would have.
No, he was making comments because I wanted to rent it.
It turns out there's not.
Did he ask if he could watch it with you?
Mm,
You see, don't ever make fun of my country when you guys are renting videos from a wine shop. What the hell
From a
is
news
that?
agents. From a news agents.
no, it was called a wine stores because they were licensed to sell alcohol, but
Yeah,
it wasn't just for
we're
wine.
not talking wine merchants here, are we?
No,
We're
no,
not
no.
talking fine
No,
wine.
it's like a corner shop, basically.
It's like, hello, love. You want a bottle of wine and some soft porn right here?
Crikey,
not,
wait
eh?
a minute. What country's he in?
No, you could buy some like
Pakistan via Wales, I think.
you could buy some
Consider yourself.
Oh, yeah.
mouldy mushrooms and some
Shipping
limp lettuce,
time.
and some can of beans. You know, it was like a grocery store that sold alcohol as well as ice
They
cream.
all did. They had a wall
Sweets.
where there would be
Yeah.
roughly four by
8.
6, 4, 6, 8, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we need to.
I've gone.
Yeah,
Let's call it going off on a tangent.
Sliver.
it's a massive tangent, but yeah, Sliver is ridiculously bad. But yeah, I've watched it loads of times. But anyway, you know me. Jeffrey Kramer, the guy that comes in to make the phone call that gets locked in there, is of course Hendrix from Jaws and Jaws 2.
Of course.
Of
How are we
course.
supposed to know?
Because you look at him and go, it's Hendrix from Jaws.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen the movie 400 times.
Oh, well, you only see
Who's
it a few
Hendrix?
times.
Who's Hendrix? I
The
don't even know who it
deputy.
is.
The deputy.
Oh, how silly of me.
Good Lord. I mean,
it's
not
it
like
is
a
about
fleeting-
sometimes somebody called you out on this, Charlie, to be honest. Yeah, and well put, Joe. Of course. It's some obscure character that you pick up on the 16th viewing.
obscure character. Well. Jane Wheeldon. Of course. What other film has she been in?
Jaws 3.
She might have been.
Don't know.
Jane Wheeldon. She was Joan of Arc in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, she was good. Who
Yes.
was she? Oh, she was the tap dancer.
She was a tap dancer, yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And Joe, she was in a Star Trek film. Do you wanna I didn't know.
Oh, I don't want to guess what she was in. Oh, was she? She wasn't. No, she couldn't have been in the first one.
No. She was in the first 5, I'd say. Pick one of those.
Was she little?
Yes.
Oh, she was little.
Well, she's little in stature, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant as in child.
Oh, no.
I'll say
Come on, Joe.
6 because there was a bunch of Klingons. Maybe she was a Klingon or Romulan.
I did say 1 to 5. It was Star Trek 4. She played an alien comms engineer.
Oh, that's another obscure thing.
Well, it is. Sorry.
It's like, how the hell am I supposed to know? I mean, she must have had
good
like
Lord.
maybe 3 seconds of screen time.
Well,
Stay
everyone
with it.
remembers
Stay
it.
with us, listeners. Stay with us. Yeah, we're right. Come on,
Right.
Charlie.
Okay. Last 2. Howard Hessman, the
last
guy that
2.
turns up. The guy Jehovah's Witness, or the religious guy who isn't. Of course, he was in, and I'm going to say of course because I kept saying it every time I've talked about it. One of my favourite TV series in the 80s, Head of the Class. He was also in Police Academy 2, so it joins up that one, and he was also in Spinal Tap, so it joins up Michael McKean.
Wrong. Now he's mostly known for Dr. Johnny Fever and WKRP in Cincinnati.
What the hell is that?
That's an American sitcom about a radio station
So
in
I would,
Cincinnati.
so I would invite the other 2 to attack Joe. Of course, he's
Why?
in WRKP at Cincinnati.
Well, I'm just telling you right here. But again, I'm sure if I asked the people in England, it's like, did you know who the sheriff in Jaws was actually in Clue
Hendrix.
too?
With Jeffrey
Those were
Kramer.
the same people? Crazy.
I feel like I'm having an out of body experience now. We've gone that obscure that I don't know if I like passed out earlier in the pod, and this is all some sort of.
Well, let's finish it because I did have Lee Ving, which is he played Mr. Body,
Who?
lead singer of Fear. He was in Flashdance and Streets of Fire. Right, cool. We can move on.
Leaving.
Streets of Fire.
Yeah,
God.
His
I-
name's
I-
Leaving.
Lee LEEVING.
No, that's not real.
Joe,
What are we talking about?
he's the lead singer of a
Leaving.
band over there, which I assume you would know, called Fear. I've never heard of them.
We're talking about Dr. Johnny Fever.
No, Mr. Body,
Who's Mr.
Jesus.
Body? Oh,
the guy
okay.
that was in Clue.
Oh, this is quality pod, everybody. What are we talking about? That's.
I don't know.
I don't really know.
Well, I
either.
don't
The
know.
one that
I've
was
never heard
He's
of
a
him.
nobody.
blackmailing
The man is
everybody.
called Lee. Ving, VING.
Yeah.
No,
Is that
he
real?
wasn't Flashdance, that guy, but he was.
Finally, yes. Okay,
But
yes.
he was the pimp. He was trying to have sex with the girls, and he was a jerk.
Yeah, Flashdance is a terrible film. Anyway,
No, it's not. It's awesome.
it's a terrible
It's a
film.
terrible movie.
See, that's
It's a
my
terrible
equivalent
movie.
to, the soft porn that you watch. That's
No.
my equivalent.
But there's no story to it. It was awful.
Yeah, but there's Jennifer Beals in it.
And it's mean-spirited. It's just like, it's grubby.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Fran,
right.
Are we
Fran,
done
if you're
for the
still
cast,
listening,
then?
you're a trooper.
Fran, you picked the worst podcast to, honestly, it gets better now. We'll go back to talking about the film, just for Fran.
Can we talk about
Okay.
the film then? And
Yes.
there are three
All right.
different
Okay.
endings.
Let's go to the film. Yeah, because you can't really talk about the film without giving a lot of things away. But I would say, yeah, let's talk about the endings. Who wants to take the endings?
We're starting with the endings, are we?
We are. The end has a start.
Well, basically,
Okay.
the film's about people getting murdered, and then
Yeah.
they've got to find out who it is.
Yes, there's been 3 murders. No, 6 murders. Ooh, that's serious.
But that's the problem with this movie too, is because when you play the game, you can figure out who the murderer is. You can't in this.
No,
You have to wait
can't.
to the end. Because you didn't see like, oh, we missed this person went into the kitchen and killed the maid, blah 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 blah. So I didn't like
But
that
Dom,
aspect.
But Dom, if you've watched it many times, have you actually?
No,
Rewound
Joe's
to that bit
correct.
to have
Yeah,
a look?
no, he is
can't
right.
see.
And you can't watch this as a whodunit. So if that's kind of your expectation when you come in to watch the film, then leave that at the start. It's a comedy, which is set around the murder mystery theme and tropes. And but Joe's right. If for the purists, there's no way of piecing it all together. And indeed, the various alternate endings are contradictory as well. So there isn't actually a way of kind of figuring it out. But I don't think that matters personally, because it's the journey, not the destination, that's important.
There was actually a fourth ending, apparently.
Okay.
In the novel.
No, in the film.
Oh, I heard there was a 4th ending, but it was only in the novel.
Oh.
Okay.
Can
Well,
I-
maybe there's
can I-
5. I don't know.
Can I be controversial? Can we start at the start with this film?
Go on.
Call
Okay.
me a stuffy old traditionalist, but that's just to set the scene for our listeners who haven't seen it. So it starts with the classic murder mystery setup. So you've got an old abandoned Gothic mansion on a dark and stormy night with a mist setting in, and you've got various strangers arriving in their cars, pulling up, and we're introduced gradually to the characters. That works really well. I think you kind of straight into it. And the film throughout moves on at a fair old lick. There's no, well, it might be a stretch to say there's no padding, but it's very well directed, very well scripted, I think. And I do like whodunits. I do like murder mysteries as a genre. Give me a Poirot on a Sunday evening, and I'm transported back to being a kid again. As
Miss Marple?
No, come on now. I draw the
No.
line there, obviously. But yeah.
Ezrak?
Down. Yeah.
Lovejoy.
The Channel Islands scene. Oh, right. Okay. Well, you've once again, second time this pod, I've now been made to look like a chump. No, all right. I don't like all murder mysteries, but I like good murder mysteries. Yeah. So that obviously
Yeah,
quantify that
picture-
more accurately.
I can't picture Dom running home from school to read the latest Miss Marple.
Skipping home. Yeah.
Murder, She Wrote?
Right, we're going to fall out, aren't we? All right, the ones I do like, bit of Sherlock Holmes. You can't. Basil Rathbone, classic. But Hound of the Baskervilles, good. Poirot, David Suchet, or alternatively the big '70s Death on the Nile. I even like what's his face, the new one, Kenneth Branagh's ones. I like the first, The Glass Onion.
Never watched them.
No, okay.
Nope.
Well, anyway, I feel like I'm fighting a bit of a lone battle here. So let's. So anyway, for those of us in small numbers who like murder mysteries, then it packs it in at the start, and then the jokes I just think start coming. So there's and they're quick fire. So there are shades of films a bit like, it's not as surreal and as slapstick as like The Naked Gun or Airplane, but that kind of quick fire jokes.
Yeah.
If one doesn't land, there's another one round the corner in a few seconds later. I think it's a funny film. It's a funny film that's well written.
I quite like the fact that some of the characters knew each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That
it's,
added a mystery as to, actually, you know that person? Why do you know that person? So you're trying to find out a little bit more about the character.
I think it would work better if it was based in England. and there was more English characters.
I
Since you
would
said
agree,
that-
actually, Joe.
Yeah.
I think it would
Yeah.
work as an English kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, from a point of view of who was up, I know we talk about this and it might be trivia, but it's a good idea to introduce it now. The original wasn't Tim Curry that they had in mind. It was actually Leonard Rossiter, famous for a program called Rising Damp over here, which was massive. He did martini adverts with Joan Collins, which were part and parcel of your Christmas, like a John Lewis ad is now. But also in contention was John Cleese and Rowan Atkinson, and all of those would have worked perfectly, all of them. And we get Tim Curry, wonderful, excellent.
You didn't get Leonard Rossiter because he died
in '84. Yeah.
So
But
That's
yeah.
Like John Cleese could have played Colonel Mustard.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is like they could have had a British cast and Rowan Atkinson could have been in it. It would have been much better instead of like these like D-list actors that were in it.
D-list.
It was an £8 million budget.
Yeah, I think it's it would have been a different film if it had a bigger budget, more locations, a better cast. It's I do take your point.
Sorry,
Joe,
$8 million, not pounds.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I think this, if it isn't, because I think it does have a bit of a cult following now. I know you said that it didn't, Dom, but I think it does. And now that I've seen it, it definitely should.
I've read articles that say, it does have a cult following. It bombed at the box office, didn't it? It didn't make much at all. I think it was only about $14 million.
The reviews aren't kind. The reviews definitely side with Joe on this. And if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, as I sometimes do for the prep for this pod, then a lot of the big ticket, including the likes of Roger Ebert, who I rate as a critic, they don't give it the time of day really.
It's a bit of a shame, and I think what hurt it is the three endings, whereby you could go and see the three endings, and it was denoted by an A, a B, or a C. And then you could go and watch the different ending. The hope was that people would go and see it 3 times for the different ones.
No, I think perhaps you were right. Perhaps we should have started there, Charlie. So I take it back. But no, when you watch it on TV, you don't get that. So the first time I watched it gave you all 3, and I thought that was kind of the point. It's not. So I think if it was a bit more of a cynical money making exercise where they try and get you to watch the film and pay for it 3 times, then that's not on. Actually, the almost slightly absurd nature of it, the fact that you can have 3 different endings which were contradictory and didn't particularly, I don't think, stand up to much scrutiny. I almost thought that was part of the charm of the film. You've been on this ride with the characters, you've seen the humor, and then they kind of wrap it up in this way. And for me that was a strong point, but I could definitely feel myself being a bit frustrated because it's a short film, and if it's 10 minutes shorter because you only got one of the endings, then that would leave me feeling a bit shortchanged, perhaps.
They said in an article that because of the 3 endings, because you could choose which one you wanted to watch, people ended up not going at all.
That was good marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you talked about the writing, the writing's really good. I heard this is just for you, Dom. I heard a gag today that said the best gag from Police Squad, and it was who are you and how did you get in here? He goes, I'm a locksmith and I'm a locksmith. And that kind of thing, I think when you look at this film, it's very rapid fire. I think it's like one of the lines. I mean, I'm just reading the line now, and I know it's mentioned in the trailer, but the longer version was, do you miss him? Well, it's a matter of life after death. Now that he's dead, I have a life. But he was your second husband. Your first husband also disappeared, but that was his job. He was an illusionist, but he never reappeared. He wasn't a very good illusionist. That's it's just things after that, and it's a bit like the airplane thing. If they come along enough times, one might land, another might land, another one doesn't, another one doesn't, and then the next one will. And I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, is because for me, all of them landed. It was just funny.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the scenes I just think are hilarious. That bit where poor old Colonel Mustard's staggering around saying, I can't take another shock, and then the chandelier crashes down behind him and he clutches his chest. I think the physical humour is great. There's that classic interaction between Colonel Mustard and Wadsworth when he said, and I've got it in front of me, I can't do the delivery, but Wadsworth, am I right in thinking there's nobody else in this house? No. Then there is somebody else in this house.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
amazing.
I said no meaning yes. No meaning yes. Look, I want a straight answer. And it's just goes on like that. I think it was very, very funny. Yeah.
Now, the one line that got me was, to make a long story short, too late. It's funny because I've used that all my life, and I haven't seen Clue in such a long time, but that's where I got it from this movie.
Okay.
There's just so many people that'll say that, like over here. It's like, well, to make a long story short, I got too late, and they're like, what? And then, like, people haven't seen Clue. That is pretty funny line.
If you can get communism was a red herring into your daily discourse as well, Joe, then I'll be impressed. That's another one. Yeah.
No one would get that over here. Sorry, we're not that bright.
Oh, but you watched Dr. Strangelove though, so come on, you just get all. Anyway, yes. So, I mean, it is frenetic in that way, and in the end, where he's running around into different things, that was the cherry on top of the cake for me, because he was just going from one to the other. Amy said that when she watched the first 10 minutes, she didn't really know what was going on, what was happening, and why people were there. But it's still enough caught her attention. The fact that when it did kick in, it's funny on any level.
Bring it to life what she said, because my kids both love it as well. So how give us a little bit of how Amy saw the film then.
Yeah, because she's basically, she then, I think it's, all the jokes might not have landed because some of them might have been a bit too, over her head. But she genuinely just, then she'll laugh, and then there'll be the slapstick. There'll be the turning on of what he thinks is the light, and it's the shower, and the things that come along like that. But she just said it just kept my attention all the way through, and she was laughing. And at the end of it, even though she was saying, "Oh yeah, I really liked it," I was like thinking, "Is Amanda on the same level? Are we all kind of liking it here?" I guess
That does remind me of a scene that's definitely not very child friendly, but I'm sure sailed over Amy's head, which is when they have to get the cop arrives, and they've got to pretend that those corpses are part of the party, and so they're smooching and dancing with them, and there's a woman on the window ledge holding them up. That's pretty funny, and yeah, I'm totally and they're very disrespectful to the corpses all the way through, aren't they?
Yeah.
The singing telegram woman just gets dumped by the time they're up to number 6. They've stopped taking care of them. Yeah, very good.
Oh, absolutely.
I was thinking, like, again, when Michael McKean's character was gay, like how that would be accepted now amongst like younger audiences, because they kind of like, made fun of the fact that he was gay. He was not accepted. Like, people would like distance themselves from him. Like Christopher Lloyd, like, got up out of the couch once he found out he was gay, and then I think they mentioned it a couple of times, and like they made faces or some kind of innuendos.
And then right at the end, of course, the final line in the whole film is, I'm going home to sleep with my wife. Yeah, like the big middle finger to them all. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did wonder when he was confessing that he was gay in the film, that actually wasn't the reason why he was being blackmailed. And then he'd just have confessed that he was gay, but it was completely...
80s was a turbulent time if you were gay, so yes. I do like the idea. I some of the bits of trivia that you collected is, that the colour of the car is the same. The colour of the car that they have is the same as their playing piece in the game. The secret passages in there lead to the same rooms as the game. The floor in the hall is the same as the one in the board game. All the rooms are in the correct order, and they're all wearing different colours to what they are. Miss Scarlet's wearing green, Miss White's wearing black, and so on. So there's little nods here and there to the game, which I thought was pretty cool. But do you know who was in line to play Miss Scarlet ahead of Leslie Ann Warren?
Nope.
I
Anyone?
do. Yeah, it's
Go on.
interesting your reaction. Well, do you mean Carrie Fisher?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher, but she went into drug rehab 4 days before filming started.
Shocker.
Yes, absolutely. Did you get the gag about Professor Plum? He says he works for the United Nations organization, the World Health Organization branch,
No. What?
which stands for you know who. I did like that. That's pretty cool. There was talk of a remake, by the way. Ryan Reynolds it's been in development hell for about the last 7 years.
Oh, it's 2021 that it was started.
No, I think they first had the
Jason
thing in
Bateman and
2016.
Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
Well, again,
Wow.
I'd be on board with that if they got better actors.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now that I've got a newfound love from this film, I wouldn't want them to touch it. I wouldn't want them to go anywhere near it. It's like remaking Jaws. No point. Or Star Wars.
Who are they
Even
going to
though they
cast to
tried,
play the
Joe.
deputy?
Yeah, but he's still going. He can do it. Fine. But yeah, I just this is just like I think the flow of the film is perfect. I think the characters they introduce are not too many, just enough. You do forget about Jeffrey Kramer, who's locked in the room with using the phone. Yeah, I don't have a bad word for it.
Well, it sounds like we're getting close to reviewing reviews and score time then, eh?
I think we are. Can I give Amy's first?
Yes.
What did she pick? Who wanted to some Joe, you said you were gonna guess.
10.
7.5.
Oh, really? All right, I'm impressed. For sure.
Let's go in the order that we Dom, you go last. So I think it was you, Joe, next.
Yeah,
Acquaintance Joe, started friend, and then finished acquaintance.
I'd give it a 5.
Oh, good lord.
Wow.
Okay. A Joe 5. Toodle Pip.
I'm giving it a 7.
Oh, okay.
So I could actually watch the movie again.
Um,
And I'd probably want to try and make sense of the endings because I got a bit lost with them.
Oh, I'd happily watch this again. Right after this, now that we've talked about it. So yeah. For me, 8.5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, loved it. It's not perfect, but this is what I had in mind when I first thought about the podcast, is that I will watch things like this that I put off or haven't watched, like Risky Business and things like that, and then look at it and go, wow, either it does live up to the hype, or if there is any hype, or how they stand up as a film. So nice one, Dom. And your score.
Yeah, well, we're keeping it brief on the scores, so it's a much revisited little gem in my opinion, and I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Oh,
Yeah, look at that. A lot of love here.
And some hate.
On that note of positivity, we now have to draw for the next podcast, which is where we where all the goodwill and all the smiles, the bon mots and camaraderie we've had go right out the window. It turns out to all-out warfare. Joe, 2 films left.
Well, I know what one of these is, so
Yeah,
I'm
I know. We
I'm
know.
now dreading what the other one is. Or it could be.
I think you might like the other one.
Don't expect a huge marked difference between the two.
I don't know either of them.
Right, you do. We talked about it.
No, I wasn't in that conversation.
She was. Yeah, you were. Anyway, right. Not taped. Oh, wait a minute. Is this the one taped? No. Ah.
So now that's questionable. You
Please,
just reached in there and you said, "Is
No.
this the one that's taped?"
No, that was a joke. It was a joke. Here we go. We're doing Popeye
Popeye?
with Robin Williams.
WTF?
Yes.
Popeye?
Having sat on that for months now, when he told me, I went, "Are you what? This is
I think
revenge."
We should play a game and guess how long will it take Amanda to walk up. Get up and walk out.
Can we do it? We'll have to have a sweepstake in the first 10 minutes. I'm going 7.
No, look.
Well,
come
don't
on.
tell me, because
Joking aside, we've got to sit. We've got to watch these films all the way
No,
through.
he's not doing it. No, wait a minute. He's not doing this because he has some sort of, well, I wanted to put legend out there to have some sort of discussion where some of us think it's good and some of us think it's bad.
Is that an
Even
impression
you,
of
Joe,
me,
think
by
it's
the way?
bad.
Was that me
Yes, it
you were
was.
doing?
Joe,
Yeah.
even you don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the movie, but
it.
well, I told you guys, it's like you guys told me to watch Cannonball Run 2, and I did. And then you guys watched 10 minutes of it and like, this is rubbish. We're not
Is this
watching
the
it.
revenge?
This is the revenge.
Yes, this is the revenge. Yes.
Petty.
But there's still things. I mean, there's interesting trivia on Popeye.
Oh, God, there better be.
Wow.
Who plays Olive Oil? Is it
Oh, it's
Una Stubbs? I don't know.
no, the one from The Shining.
Oh yeah.
Shelley Duvall.
Yeah,
Oh God.
another looker.
Right. Well, that might be. This might. Weekend at Bernie's was just about an hour and about 5 minutes. This might be. This is
No
next
comparison.
Podcast. No, you're right, Joe. There really is no comparison. This might be the next podcast, dear listeners. We've been going for 1 hour 20 on this, so about that. That's about where we'd like it to sit. 1 hour 20, 1 hour 30. The next podcast might make it to 18, 19 minutes.
Popeye
It would just be everyone giving Joe loads of abuse.
Go on,
Popeye
Joe.
is Hamlet compared to Weekend at Bernie's.
Hamlet.
Yeah. Come on. That movie sucked
Oh my
balls.
God.
Oh God.
Wait, was Popeye a popular comic strip or cartoon by you guys?
Yeah, it was a popular cartoon.
Sort of.
Well, he ate the spinach and he went there, did that, and then whacked Bluto.
You should be happy Robin Williams is in the movie.
Oh, good. Oh, good, because, I genuinely think Good Morning Vietnam might be, second only to Forrest Gump, the most overrated film ever. So,
Patch Adams. That's
yeah, I know. We might have to do a podcast on celebrities we don't like and the reasons why. It'd be great. We can each bring 3.
I thought you liked Robin Williams. You don't like him?
Yeah, well, I do like him as a comedian. His films, Dead Poets Society.
I thought you liked that, Captain, My
What?
Captain. No?
Oh God, no! It reminded me of public school.
You didn't like Aladdin?
Yeah, and because he was playing a comedian in that, it was like quick
World
one-liners.
according to Garp, you like that, don't you?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you see, this is revenge for making me look stupid at least 3 or 4 times on this pod.
No, well, he's no Hugh Grant, and he's certainly no Tom Hanks. Far better than that. Right, dear listeners, please tune in to the next one. I know we've not given you much of a. It might actually be the most entertaining one because we think up new ways to insult Joe. So
it's going to have more.
We've got 2
views
weeks.
Than most.
Your preconceived ideas of the movie. Have you actually seen the movie before?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, you have seen it.
I have, yeah.
I hated it when I saw it first, but
You've seen it, Dom.
I've seen, yeah, I think I have, yeah, but it's yes, I think so. I can't remember it very clearly. I'm going to sit down and watch the whole thing, whether I like it or not. That's the professional.
I
this is
seen it.
So my suggestion, and I read this online because there are a lot. It's weird. There are a lot of people that do like it. You have to go into it thinking that this is an actual cartoon world, and if you watch it that way, you might be a little bit more amused.
I think the only way I'm going to get through this film is copious amounts of vodka in order to help me get to the end. Yeah,
do that. I mean, you might enjoy it. Give it a 10 out of 10 for all we know.
39% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Come on, good. Otherwise we're going to do the double pod, aren't we? Here, so
yeah, all right, okay, all right, yeah. Thanks, Joe. Yes, thank you very much. Bless you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, with that in mind, the end of the podcast, nice and sprightly for us in that way. But yeah, go watch Clue is the consensus from 3 of us. not from Joe.
No.
So yeah. Anyway, until next time, I'm going to say goodbye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
No?
I said see you.
That's
Oh.
a strong finish. Well done, gang.
Yes.
Right.
Well done, everyone on there.
Toodle pip.
Bye.
Bye again.
Toodle pip.
Oh my God.
Live long and prosper.
Let's
Oh,
end.
Lord. Let's end this now.